Hey, this is Aaron from AaronOnAutos.com, and today we're doing our interior walkthrough in a 2020 Volkswagen Atlas Sport. So this is the smaller Atlas. It's not really that much smaller. The biggest difference is, looking at the photo here, the rear profile is sportier. So they cut out the third row in this, made it a two-row SUV, and then just kind of profiled the rear to make it a little sportier looking, because they didn't need the headroom back there anymore. So very large cargo area, huge cargo area, and huge passenger seats. So the big wide stance of the standard three-row Atlas is retained in this two-row version, and so it makes it a hugely roomy vehicle. This is gigantic. So I'm going to show you what this is. This is the SEL Premium package. So it is not the top end of this, but it's pretty close. It's past mid-level. You're paying about a little over $49 for this, $49,350 with delivery. So it's a well priced for the segment, I think is how I would put it, considering. So let's get started. Looking over here, you got the door locks and whatnot, and you can see the Fender audio system. So it starts here with Fender. That is I believe it's part of the package. I don't think it's an add-on. So it's a part of the premium package. Down here you have the side mirrors, and then you have the windows. I'm having a hard time coming up with these really basic words now. I'm talking too fast. I know that's what it is. Whatever. Over here's lighting control, so you can see it's pretty straightforward. There's not a whole lot going on. Now, if you're in, so let's say you have the lights on and you want to dim it a little bit because you got maybe snowfall or something, you just pull it out and it does that. See how that worked? Otherwise, all pretty straightforward and obvious. There's this storage cubby here, which is a pretty good size, honestly. My phone almost fits in there. It's a little bit big. If I didn't have the case on it, it would fit in there easy. And then you got a good dead pedal, and down there hiding on the corner, that's how you actually undo the hood. Kind of a Volkswagen thing. So looking at the steering wheel, on this side it's all cruise control stuff. Maybe I should focus on that, right? Like point at it, actually show it on the camera. So this is all cruise control stuff. You turn it on here. This is all your safety systems. So you end up paging through a menu up there when you push that button. Up here are set, resume, and then this increases, decreases speed, and then this is your distance, your following distance for the adaptive system. And then down here, these are volume controls for the stereo. On the other side, you've got mostly driver information screen menus, so you can see, you can flip through stuff over there. I would show you more of what there is, but honestly there isn't a whole ton of it, and it's all very obvious once you see it. It's mostly safety stuff. And then you hit OK here. This is the voice recognition system, so you can hit that and talk to it. It's pretty okay, not the best. The menus are tedious, and the prompts take forever, really slow. That's a common problem with VR systems that are not the most current, honest. Yeah, it's a problem that's really common. I see it a lot. So anyway, you can up and down through some menus here. Steering wheel heat over here. This is the view, so it changes the view of what you're seeing right here, which is kind of cool. See, so if you want to focus on like that, or you want to see something different up there, you can change the gauges. I mean, really cool. That's a neat thing to see with a fully digital display, to have control over what it's showing. Some companies do a full digital display and then fail to give you much in the way of what's actually being displayed and options. This is the track jump back and forth thing. So pretty cool. Nice and easy placement, and right there in front of you. Over here are windshield washer wipers, and it's a Volkswagen setup, so it's different than most everybody else. You go up, just like with a lot of companies now, you go up in order to go through the increments here, or down just for a one-off like that. Now, The back window, you push it once, right? So you push it the first time and it turns it on intermittent. Push it again and you get the squirters. Coming forward, you only pull once and you end up with the squirters. So you can see it's off position right now, intermittent right there, and then squirt, or just pull forward and squirt. And then this is the speed control, I think is the best way to put it. So the higher it is, the faster it will run, or the more often it will run. Mostly in that intermittent mode. And I will say that the speed control seems to be controlling both wipers, rear and front, if you have the rear on. So there you go. Over on this side, you got signal turns, and then you got lighting controls. You can see all the difference, so you can, you know, pop it for the one and push it out for the other, and then that's it. That's pretty much all this dongle does. So that's the steering wheel and area. Now let's talk about the instrument cluster. Over here you can see fuel, and then over here on the right, on the left side, right, left, yeah, whatever. I finished kindergarten. Over here is the engine heat, so the coolant heat. And then this right now is showing a tachometer, and then this over here is showing a speedometer, and then you can see this is how long it's been running, that kind of stuff. And then right here is the driver information display. So the driver info display, I usually had it on this, but you can also look at here, you know, if you want to look at your phone. My phone's disconnected. I turned off Bluetooth on my phone. That's why it's just sitting here going, where's your phone? But you can see just kind of what's going on, navigation, everything. Most everything is turned off. That's why it doesn't show much. This is basically safety screen. So this is safety stuff. Now, you remember when I pushed that I should point out down at the bottom, you see the cruise control is on and a few other things. Now, you remember I pushed that view button on the steering wheel. These are the views you get. So if you want to focus on this, if you have navigation running, that's actually what this all is. So this will show a giant map and where to go and turn by turn and whatnot. And then right here you can see a little more metrics, so you can see things like your engine hours, and if we were moving, this would also show some of the safety stuff. So it would show a few things, as well as MPGs, stuff like that. So there you go. I really like that they did that with this display, and that they kept it very simple. It's not overcomplicated at all. Now, going over here, infotainment. This is what the screen looks like when it's been turned off. I pushed that, I should say, and it turned everything off. You can see the hard buttons over here, radio, media, etc. So these are pretty straightforward. This stuff's pretty obvious. So when you turn it on, here you have the main menu. So this is also what you get when you just push that. So kind of what's going on, this is everything that's available. There's pretty basic stuff. It's not terribly complicated. There's not a whole ton of it, but you do have like App Connect if you have your phone connected to it via a tether. This does have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You can also go to App Connect directly by hitting the app button, and then you can go to car settings right here. This shows you more and more information. So you can see my average speed, my average MPG, and so on. And then there's a few other things on here, but most of them are pretty straightforward. It's not a terribly complicated system, but it's fast and responsive. You see how quickly it's jumping through these menus. That is really cool. I like it. So nicely done there, if basic, still very nicely done. And the Fender audio system in this sounds phenomenal. It sounds really, really good. Fender is very good at mid-range sound, and that's unusual because a lot of stereo and audio systems just seem to really aim for bass or treble and not for the mid-range, which is normally where it's happening in good music. So there you go. Anyway, moving on from that, down here you have some climate controls. You can see bun warmers and bun coolers. I have it all turned off so it's not blowing into the screen. You just turn it off right there. But you can see it's a dual zone. You can sync those. It's got automatic whatever, so sync over here. And then you can manually control things. Pretty straightforward and very well done. The climate controls in here move a lot. The climate system in here moves a lot of air very quickly. So it does a good job of cooling things down or heating them up very fast. Down here underneath that, you got Duke's lights. This is the start-stop system on and off. And then down, hiding in there, there are a couple of USBs. Those are both data ports. There's an aux plug, and then there's a 12-volt plug right there. And then coming over here, you got a gear shifter. Pretty standard stuff, except that when you're in drive, you go to the right instead of the left. Normally these, you end up on the left to shift gears. Over here, you go to the right to do that. So there you go. Good camera system on this, by the way, when you're in reverse. It's nice and clear and big. I like it. And then you got these big drink holders, nice and pretty. Over here you have drive mode controls. Most of these have to do with weather, so you can maybe off-road here, off-road there, and snow over there. This is a more dynamic off-road. But honestly, when I did the dirt road and the little bit of stuff where I had the rear wheel in the air and stuff, I didn't even touch this thing. There was really no reason to. It did just fine adapting on its own. I would mostly use this when the weather hits and you want snow mode to kind of force the all-wheel drive. Parking breakers right here, engine start there. This is the parking cameras, so and radars. So if you go into a car wash, just hit that and it will shut everything off. This is the automatic parking, so it automates the parking process. It does require that you do a couple of things. You still have to run the pedals. You still have to run your blinker, that kind of stuff. So you stay active in the parking process, but it does the steering for you and works really well. Over here you got an armrest. Underneath that is a big wide storage bin with another USB. That's a charging only USB, there's no data on that one, but it's a good size bin here. It's not terribly deep, but it's a good size. Then you got kind of just the seating. This is a cheat sheet. Here you got the seating. This is sort of a leatherette. It's very, very comfortable. I really like it, and it looks good. I like how they broke up the colors without I don't know. They didn't go overboard with the changes. So you can see you got this faux carbon fiber in the middle. You got this nickel going on here, and then you kind of got this leather that moves down and does its thing on both sides. This plastic simulates this leather. This is not real leather either, it's plastic, but still. And then the hard plastic of this right there is mitigated by the texturing and amazing soundproofing in this. It's very quiet for the size of the vehicle. You'd think something this big would be kind of loud, especially with mirrors as huge as those are on the sides. But they do really well. So I like that. I like the layout. I like the setup. Back seat, very large, in charge, and good. And again, the cargo area is huge. So I'll show you the Monroney so you can see what you're looking at in terms of what's in this, what's added onto it, and so on for the money you're spending. It's rated at 22 miles per gallon on the highway. I received that very easily. That's a testament to this, that I was able to get 22 miles a gallon without even trying, and an 80-mile-an-hour speed limit. I was not doing the 65 they test this at. So that's a great testament to this. City mileage and stuff, totally different. I did not get anywhere near, actually I got better than 16. So I will say the city mileage, I did get better than that. But I think that was the driving style more than anything else. I don't think it had anything to do with you know, because that's such a variable. It's so hard to match any of that. 19 overall, you saw my numbers. I didn't get 19 overall. I mostly did city driving in this week anyway. But wonderful vehicle, feels really good, drives really well, really well done. So kudos to Volkswagen for this one. I really liked the Atlas to start with. The Atlas Sport here is just a nice rendition of the same thing. It's just a different idea on the same vein. So great job. So that's what I got. This has been Aaron, AaronOnAutos.com. Talk to you again soon.
Subscribe.